Hey, I'm Jodi Velasquez, and I was honored to be asked to be on the Kim Sorrell show. And so Kim and I talked for an hour about my book, Know the Enemy: Preventing Weight Gain, Diabetes, and Disease. And you are going to be fully entertained with the things that we shared, and I hope that you watch it.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. You're going to be so happy you're here. I am Kim Sorrell. I'm a writer. I'm a speaker. I get to do a lot of fun things in life. But my favorite thing to do is meet people. And I get to meet some extraordinary, wonderful people. And today, my new friend, Jodi, is with us. And she's going to talk about some things that you're going to want to hear about. But we're just going to have a really fun conversation. And Jodi has faced some things in life. She has a daughter with diabetes, juvenile diabetes, which is a very difficult thing to handle. Anybody who knows anybody who has faced that, you know what a difficult thing it is, or if you have yourself, you know how hard it is. Jodi has just come up with ways to make the whole transition of life easier and better. And she cooks. She's a fantastic chef and teaches people how to do it. She does all kinds of wonderful things. And so buckle up, people, because this is going to be a fun one. Jodi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show, Kim. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure. It's an honor for me to have you. So, Jodi, I love it when people know who you are, get to know you personally, then they want to buy your books and they want to follow your YouTube channel and they want to get to know you even more. And so I like to start there. I want to start with who you are. So first, I would like to hear about 8-year-old Jodi.
8-year-old Jodi. Okay, so 8-year-old Jodi grew up sort of in a country place, South Fayette, a little south of Pittsburgh. And when I was 8 years old, I lived on a road that was just all farms. So I was riding horses and I was outside all the time. And there were just a tons of farms on the road. So we would just, my friends and I would just hop around and go visit all the farms. And eventually we all got horses, and that kind of only lasted till we were about 12, and then we kind of ditched the horses. But it was fun. 8 years, being 8 years old in the south of Pittsburgh was very fun.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. So those friendships that you developed back then, are they still going today?
Yes, I have one in particular that she just moved a little north. She's in Zelienople, which is like an hour away, but I was with her a lot. I met her on the kindergarten bus and stayed friends with her, and we're like sisters, but not really.
Sisters who don't fight, maybe?
Right. Sisters that don't fight, but we get on the phone and it's like, nothing has changed, even though she moved. But I miss her. I miss her being around.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. Yeah, I know those friendships that you developed back then. Man, it's rare that I meet someone who still has friends from way back when. But
Hmm.
what a blessing they are. I do. I'm blessed to have some incredible, wonderful friends. My best friend from high school is still my best friend, and
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
know, I love it. Yeah, and I love it with my friends. And so, yeah, it's a really cool thing. And so this childhood of yours, by the way. So I always wanted to be that girl on the horse, like you watch Big Valley or Bonanza or whatever. I wanted so badly to be that girl on a horse and smell that leather and whatever.
Molasses and
But
hay.
exactly. But they're so big. They're so
Yeah.
big that I always have had kind of a fear of I'm more afraid of horses than I am of spiders. I don't know what it is, but
No, I'm not afraid of horses more than spiders, but spiders really get me. But yeah, we had a lot of crazy times. In fact, I mentioned in my book how I would head out in the morning and not come back like all day. And my friend's mom had a cowbell that she would ring when it was dinner time. And we'd go back then, but definitely I fell off more than a handful of times, and got the wind knocked out of me. And my friend, her horse fell on her, the one we're talking about, and she broke her ankle. So it can be dangerous, but I got trampled once.
oh no, oh geez. Yeah, yeah. So those are the stories that keep the fear in me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe someday I'll meet just some nice docile horse that just wants to be petted or something. I don't know what.
And they do have such different personalities. So you could meet one that's docile, you know what I mean? So that would be where I'd say you should venture.
Yeah, the closest I ever came really to owning a horse was having a Great Dane. I grew up with Great Danes and they were not quite the size of a horse, but sometimes seemed like they were. And when I was cleaning up the yard after them, I felt like I was cleaning up after a horse. So I don't know if that makes any difference or not. So okay, so you go through school and you've got friends and whatever, you go on to college and meet the love of your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I met my husband, and he was in school for air traffic control. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that's you hardly get placed where you are. You know, you have to go to another state usually. So he got a call. We were standing in my apartment and he got a call and the guy said, "You want to come to South Texas, like border of Mexico?" And we're in Pittsburgh and he hangs up and he said, "I got a job in South Texas." And he said, "Are you coming?" And I said, "Why not?"
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's quite a move.
Yes, it was quite a move. I mean, I didn't really realize it at the time. It took us 3 days to drive down there. And I think once we passed Corpus Christi, Texas, there was really nothing till we were living on South Padre Island. And once we passed Corpus Christi, I just like got this like ache in my throat. I'm like, where am I going?
Are there stores here? Am I going to have to churn my
Yeah.
butter? Yeah. Yeah. I could see
And
where.
we stopped at a rest stop and a sign said, watch out for rattlesnakes. And I'm like, I want my mommy.
No kidding. No kidding. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That had to be, yeah.
Yeah.
How
But
old?
it was amazing to live so close to South Padre Island. We didn't live exactly on the island, but we were about 20 minutes away in a town called Harlingen, Texas. And every weekend we were at that island and it was just beautiful, to be there. And we were young, we weren't married yet, but, we were in love and we were just having so much fun on that island. It
Oh,
was
that's
great.
so cool. Yeah. And the winters there are a little different than Pittsburgh.
To say the least, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting sunburned on Thanksgiving, and it did get down to like 60 in December and January, but for the most part, it was always hot. I worked for the newspaper, and I remember getting the paper delivered every day, and they had it on the back part was always the part that was showing when I opened my door, and it was 97 and sunny like every day for like months and months and months and months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm in Michigan, so we kind of share weather. So yeah,
Yeah,
a
we
a
do.
little different than Michigan. Although it's supposed to
Yeah.
be 90 today, so we'll see.
Ah, nice.
I know, no kidding, right? I like it.
Have you had a bad spring? We have had a really bad spring. Lots of rain and cold.
Yes, yes. And then all of a sudden there'll be a day that's like 85 degrees and sunny. And you go, what? All of a sudden we went from April to July and then we go back to February. I don't know, and there's snow or whatever happens. It's just crazy.
I
But
always say they're product testing us to see if we can handle it.
well, so we must be hardier. Maybe we're hardier in the north.
I
I
think
don't know,
so.
that we can put up with the snow. I prefer the warm, I have to
Yeah,
say, but
me too.
okay. But summers here are gorgeous. So anyway, so you did marry this man that you were madly in love with, and
Yeah,
yeah,
we got married on the island. And
oh, beautiful.
yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And then he got transferred to New York. So we were in New York in a town called Armonk for 3.5 years. So, and that's when I got pregnant and had my first baby, Marlo. My second one, Lana, wasn't born yet.
Yeah, so there you are, two kids and a husband, and life is going on. But then when you're
Well,
done,
I only had one, and that was in New York, and he got transferred to Philadelphia. So there was a lot of moves. And when we were in Philadelphia, that's when we noticed that my daughter was kind of getting a lot of colds and it's just something wasn't right. And then we got the diagnosis that she had type 1 diabetes. So then he hard shipped back to Pittsburgh, and we were able to move back to Pittsburgh so I could be around my parents who helped me, with taking care of her because it's a lot, and I was pregnant with my second daughter, Lana.
Oh,
So that
my.
was a lot going on. And we got a house 2 doors away from my parents, which, was a really nice house with a pool and everything. But so they were right next door to help me. And it really, like some people say that must have been awful, and it was a lot, but I view it as, I didn't realize the massive education I was going to get from her getting this diagnosis. It opened my eyes to so much, and I could see what every food did to her and what lack of activity did to her. And I viewed it as not a bad thing, or, it was a challenge that was going to make me better. And being next to my parents, it was going to make me closer to them. I was blessed that I had a mother I got along with and a dad, so I was next door, and my husband was a big help too. So
Mm. And how old was she?
she was 19 months old. So
Is that young to be diagnosed at
it
that?
is. It's really a rarity. I don't know what the current statistics are for it, but that doesn't usually happen to babies. But because she was so young, she couldn't tell us how she was feeling. So it was recommended that we check her like 10 times a day, which is really where I saw everything that was going on with her. Every food that went into her, I saw what it did to like her glucose levels. And that's where I realized that, going back to the horse thing, I was outside playing all the time. And I realized shortly after she got it that sitting dormant watching TV didn't make her glucose levels budge. But doing anything helps blood sugar go down. You don't have to be running on a treadmill. Just movement and doing things helps. So I learned that initially. That was the first thing I learned. Being active helps the numbers go down. And so I got her outside and just started incorporating everything that I did when I was a kid, how I played outside and things that we did. And I got real creative and was coming up with even more things to do. And in the back of my book, I have 45 non-technology games to play with your kids.
Yeah, that's so good. That is so good. Yeah, which might be the only book with 45 non-technology games in it these days. So good for you. Yeah, yeah. And they're
Some
fun.
of them are silly, but honestly, if you're a grandparent and you love your grandkids, I mean, get the book because you're gonna come up with these games. And the thing is, you don't have to think about it. You can just open the book and choose one, and it tells you what all you need to make it happen. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them too, it's stuff that's just around. It's not like you got to run to the store to go get a bunch.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right. And I also incorporated terminology because if you're faking that you have like a Dairy Queen and you open your one window that's low to the ground and you have the kids coming up on their bikes, to act like you have a Dairy Queen, you can incorporate business terms to try to teach them while you're playing as well. So, the schools have all this testing now, state testing and everything, and so it'll give you a head start with that.
yeah, yeah, which is so good. Because
Yeah.
learning while playing, it's almost like you're faking them out. Like, we're gonna play now, but by the way, you're learning a bunch of stuff. You just don't know you're learning a bunch of stuff. I coached varsity volleyball for years, and when I
Oh,
did,
wow.
yeah, and girls in general, my girls, the girls I had, didn't necessarily like running. And so we would do things like play turtle tag or, do things where they're running like crazy. They're running, running,
I
running.
didn't notice it.
They had no idea. Yeah, they had no
Look
idea.
at you. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they have no idea that they're learning all these business terms or learning things that are going to help them with testing and
Right.
just having fun, right? I mean, it's just about play and having fun.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually have a chapter dedicated to that in my book when you're in school, whether it's high school or college, you have such structure for sports. And you have a coach that's depending on you. The parents are depending on you. The parents are coming to the games. The other teammates are depending on you. And when you get out of school, there's no one to help you choose like what kind of sport. So a lot of people just fall off the map and do sports or participate, and one of my suggestions is to coach. Because it takes you back, it gets you, back into groove of going somewhere and exercising if you exercise with the kids. But I give all kinds of ideas for things to do after, and it's called Post-Organized Sports, the chapter.
Which is
Yeah,
such a
but good for you. What made you decide to become a coach?
well, my mom coached basketball actually,
Oh,
and I played basketball, volleyball, and softball in all the way through high school. And so when I was in high school, I coached junior high kids in basketball. And then I don't know, it was just kind of natural for me to coach. And I didn't expect to coach volleyball. I I liked it. It wasn't my favorite. Basketball was my favorite by far. And I knew how to coach basketball. That was easy. And volleyball,
yeah.
when they asked me to be the coach, I was like, you people are insane, because I have not done this before. But besides our first year, we were ranked in the top 10 in the state because I think
Wow,
played, might as well win,
congratulations.
right? Like, so anyway, yeah, a little
I
competitive.
see you as a really good coach.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so fun. I loved it. I loved the girls. Got to be mistress of ceremonies at a lot of their weddings, and
Oh, wow,
them
that's
grow up and
awesome.
their kids. It's so fun. It's so fun.
And you don't do it anymore?
I don't coach anymore. Yeah, things changed, I have to say. Like, I'm so glad that you came out with this book for so many different reasons. And one is, I know people who have gone through what you had to face and
Hmm.
figure out, which, when you get that diagnosis, man, they had to be just a stomach punch. Like, how do you even know what to do? Like, it would take a lot of study, a lot of education to figure out, well, how do you handle this? What does it mean? How does
Right.
somebody's body react? So good for you that you dove in so completely that
Yeah.
you could tell every single food and every single activity, non-activity, whatever, what was happening with their body, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you wrote it for that. But also the games and also the other advice that you give is just invaluable. And parents have changed, and I like it too that you're almost like an old school parent, that you're not you're not this mom that's in yelling at the teacher saying you're not teaching my kid right, or yelling at the coach or whatever. But we have to all support each other. And I think
Right.
we used to be in an environment where we
Hmm.
supported our teachers and we supported our coaches and whatever. And now it's almost like, with some people, it's an enemy. It shouldn't even be a frenemy. It should be
Right.
someone you're grateful for and embrace, right?
Right. I did notice, when she started school, there were a lot of snacks and treats coming in, and I have a huge chapter in my book dedicated to that. And I didn't approach the school with like an angry attitude, but I wanted to work with them and see what we could do to try to make changes. And her last year, I think in elementary school, they totally were on board with me. Normally they had like a graduation for elementary school, and it involved cake and cookies and the cafeteria, and they wore the cap and the gown. And so when the last year that she was there, they had like a fitness event. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. They had a big bounce house and they played volleyball, and the only food that they had there was I think it was the ice, Italian ice, and everybody had to bring their own packed lunch, which was great. And in my book, I have ideas for teachers instead of food treats to reward them with things like story time. And I just have a whole list of things in there for teachers. But parents, a lot of times, won't even know the kids are getting a lot of treats in school. So they're not even aware of these extra calories. So you have to kind of really befriend the teachers, and talk to them, talk to other parents, ask if their kids are getting treats in school, birthday treats after school math club, they want to give a treat. And the problem is nobody knows the other one's doing it. So if you have a birthday treat at noon, then after school math club, who doesn't may not have to abide by wellness policies at the school, they give you a treat. Your kid comes home and you're like, I made dessert. And then you take them to nighttime religious class or karate class and they give them a dessert. And it's like your kid had four desserts and you only know about one. So
Right.
communication, like going back to what you just said, communication is key. And anytime you're arguing or coming at somebody in a negative way, the communication is going to stop and you're not going to know. So it's good to just try to be friendly, be happy, go to that, teacher, say, I have ideas. I want to make sure my child gets proper nutrition. Actually, June, July, August are the months to go to the school and make sure your child gets placed with a teacher who uses non-food treats. You don't want to wait till school starts and then try to yank your kid out of a class and put them in a different class. But let the school know that you're on board for good nutrition. You want to make sure that they're not getting excess treats. There's no snack monitor, so nobody knows who's giving their kids what. And
It's
some parents are like, I feed my kids so well, and they're, 20 pounds overweight, or, and they don't even know they're getting these treats from other places.
right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. That is so
Yeah.
true. I never thought about that until I saw your book, but it's 100% true. And I think of how things have changed over the years.
Yes.
When I was a kid in school, we made Valentine boxes and we would get the little Valentines, whatever.
Yeah.
But nowadays there's candy attached to the Valentines. Like there's so many, right? There's so many of them. They have a sucker, a pack of Smarties, or I don't know, whatever's on them. So there's all
Yeah.
kinds of candy. And then they have a party with cupcakes and maybe more candy. And then like
Yeah.
maybe games with prizes that are candy. And I don't know when the whole food reward thing
Things
started.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Now,
it's a thing.
we
Yeah.
tried to enforce the wellness policy and say no food. I saw people sneaking sheet cakes in the side door. I saw people bringing Smarties or whatever candies in as bingo chips. It's legal if it's used as I'm like, and now I see the food trucks are just constantly at the school.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so interesting. The food trucks are at the school.
Oh, all the time. And I see this is a school that's near me, but I see 9:30 in the morning the ice truck with the, syrups. And I tell people all the time, like, when my daughter was little, if she was low at night when we checked her, we'd just, give her orange juice to bump her up a little bit. And there's times we ran out of orange juice. And we used milk with like the syrups, either strawberry or chocolate in the milk, which skyrocketed her, maybe even more so than orange juice. And that's the syrups. That's what they're using. And I see them at the school at 9:30 in the morning, in between breakfast and lunch, and you're getting that boost of sugar.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting about it is I think we're so naive to it. Like what you're talking about with treats and why are you sneaking in a cake, people? Like you have to sneak in some carrots. I don't know. But do you have to sneak in anything? Like you don't do that, but we've become a society, a lot of people that have
Mhm.
a sugar addiction. And
Right.
and I don't think people necessarily talk about it, but it's true. Like
Right.
it's addictive. Like
Right.
I don't know about you, but sometimes after I've had a meal, I'm like, man, something sweet would be really nice. And it's like, well, why do I want something sweet? Why does it have to be something sweet? And uh there's we never had candy in the house. Like that was a big treat. We'd get a
Hmm.
quarter and ride our bike down to the local 7-Eleven, whatever, and spend our quarter there on candy. And
Yeah.
it's a treat to do that. And
Right.
now candy's just kind of everywhere. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And that's, I am in my book, I compare all through the book, I compare today to, 1970 and 1980, how it was when I was little. And that's a big part of it. We have an availability that's just crazy. Gas stations used to be where you got your oil changed and you got gas. Now it's a restaurant. Most gas stations have tons of food. There's just an availability. There's machines everywhere that sell, packaged food and processed food. And I teach people in my book how to get back to that or become aware of it so that you can try to, realize what you're doing. I think a lot of people, this is gradual change that happened little bits over time that have made such a big change as a whole. The coffee, we used to drink black coffee or just put a little bit of cream in it. And now with all those syrups and the flavors, everything's flavored and it's just become too much. It's a lot of sugar and the drinks are so much bigger.
Yeah, everything's so much bigger, right?
Oh, so much bigger. I have a chapter on portions, and I have a picture in the book of a little wooden box that my father made for family parties. And it has three sections for forks, knives, and spoons, and then the big long section for the paper plates. And many of today's paper plates won't even fit in that box. The majority of them won't fit in the box.
It is so funny. I didn't even think about paper plates getting bigger. Let's
Yes.
see, and I did notice, however, that rolls of toilet paper are getting bigger. So maybe there's some correlation there. I don't know. Could be. But yeah, it is. It is so interesting. And I think too, what do you say to people that feel like they're depriving their kids if they're not letting them have the sugary, sour gummy worms every time they go to the store, or,
Right. Yeah. I think that what I did with both of my daughters is kind of a barter, and I do talk about combinations, so if you're going to have a birthday party, instead of having pizza and French fries and ice cream, have pizza and a salad. And water, have water bottles. Like kids like water bottles, they'll drink anything. But combining soda and a carb and, especially like the fattening carbs and when we were little, these meals we didn't eat fast food like they do now. And we didn't have these meals that were prepared that had, the French fries and the hamburger and the soda, so try to break it down. And there's a chapter that tells you how to order. Don't feel rushed. People get to the fast food window and it's like, I'll take a number three.
Yeah.
Because you feel rushed, there's somebody behind you and they're saying, to calm down and say, I would like the hamburger, but I want a water. I don't want the meal. I want a water and I want the carrot sticks with it. So it's your money, it's your body. Take your time and order healthier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what a good point, because I have felt that rush, felt that
Yeah, you do feel that rush.
they like scan the menu and I don't know, for whatever reason, don't know ahead of time what I'm gonna get, I guess, but I try to avoid those lines at all costs. But
Yeah.
once in a while, I end up in one, mostly when I have a grandchild involved. But
Yeah.
yeah, but you can get the carrot sticks. You know, it's true. It is your money, and you can do things. I like it very much that you're not saying don't order anything. Don't ever.
Right, because my book is you're not going to go from my book is worst case scenario. This is somebody who's eating very poorly, and I want to take them gradually down. You can't go from, eating fast food 3 times and 4 times a week to boink, you're going to be on Weight Watchers or you're going to be on this radical diet. So I try to gradually take people down. And I've had reviews on my book. They're on my website, jodivelasquez.com, that say this book does not cause anxiety. The doctor tells me to do all these things. This book tells me how. And Jodi delivers practical information with a different melody. It's kind of like a friendly, user-friendly book. But I'll tell you, I was a frequent McDonald's person for the fish fillets. I had just the cravings a lot for the fish fillets. And that's all I would get though. And I always have my water with me. So all I would order was the fish fillet. But I was there. This was the last time I went to McDonald's. I was there and I was parked in the window. And this truck that was parked a little on a grade and up to like I guess I want to say 2 o'clock, just slipped out of gear and rolled into me and crashed into me at the window. And I'm kind of a spiritual person. I'm like, okay, this is a sign. The truck crashed into me. But to go back to what you were saying about feeling rushed, I'm taking pictures and screaming because I thought someone was in the truck, but they were inside eating McDonald's and didn't even know. And the woman in the window's like, "Here's your food. Here's your food." And I'm like, "Don't you just see the accident happen?"
No kidding. No
They're
kidding.
just conditioned to like move you through, like order, take your food, go. And after that I said, "You know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm completely done."
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
You might be the only one who got in a car accident at a McDonald's that you didn't even cause, whatever, who knows? But
I didn't
yeah,
cause.
maybe.
That surely is a sign,
Yeah,
like, what are
that's
you
right.
doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty spiritual too. I think that would shout loud to me, like, no more Big Macs for you, Kim. Like, they do the line for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And you know what happens when you start giving up some of these places that you frequent? Your bank account really kind of stays up here. Because I noticed when I quit the coffee places and the fast food places, my bank account used to really plummet during the week. And now it stays up a little higher. So it adds up. You're wasting a lot of money.
yeah, you could take all that money by the end of the year, you're going on a cruise or something, which is way better than all those fast food drive-throughs, I think. But
Right.
yeah, so I think it'd be an interesting thing for people to pay attention to their bodies, right? Like you talk about that. Pay attention to your body. What is your body telling you? When you eat this, how do you feel? When you eat that, how do you feel? When you drink this, when you do this and or don't do this, right? How does
Right.
your body feel? And
What's scary about that, and I don't think this is in the book, but if you were born after 1990, you were born into a world of fast food and oversized portions and high fat and high salt. And you won't might not have the ability, if you do get diagnosed with diabetes or you are becoming overweight, you don't have the ability to revert back and see, to the nutrition that you grew up with. So that's what, I wanted to really put in the book, let people know how it used to be. But one of the things that I notice is when I do go have fast food or eat something from a restaurant and I become really thirsty because it was very salty, I can notice when things are way too salty because I didn't grow up eating foods that were salty like that. So that's one of the things I say in the book is to assess yourself after you go out and you eat, whether it's fast food or a restaurant. If you're parched and you're really, thirsty after, or you feel bogged down and really tired, start paying attention and don't eat there anymore.
yeah, right, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and I know for myself and for people that I know, there can be this like afternoon lull, right?
Mhm.
Where you've eaten lunch and then there's almost a little crash where you wish you lived in Europe so you could take a siesta in the afternoon, right? Like
Right.
close the
Yeah.
doors and go lay down, take a nap. But it's a lot of times or most times probably because of what we've eaten and what we've
Right.
become, right? The good
Right.
that we've
Yeah.
not let
Yeah.
it
And I explain how that was an issue with us. If there wasn't, like, a lot of times people will go and have those morning big drinks with a lot of sugar in them, whether it's a cold coffee or a hot coffee, and it doesn't have a lot of protein or fat in it, but it just like spikes your blood sugar up. And then later you're crashing and you don't have that protein or fat. That's one of the things that they taught us when we initially learned about how to care for, someone with diabetes is you need fat and good protein in every meal that will help you from plummeting. And if you're not diabetic, it could be what you're talking about. You kind of crash out and you want that nap, but having a little bit of protein in there is really good. So people that are, doing these sugary drinks that really don't have anything in them except sugar, that's really hard on your body, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's always been interesting to me too that when they do a PET scan and they give you an IV, like I think it's like a sugar something that they put in you and it goes right to wherever cancer is in your body if you're having a PET scan for cancer and
Oh,
it
wow.
lights up. And so it's like, well, how good is sugar? Like, what does it
Oh,
do?
yeah, sugar.
That, right? Like, yeah, maybe you're not so good. And,
Yeah,
but there are so many great alternatives, and there's something wonderful about feeling good, about feeling well
absolutely.
and staying healthy, and feeling the other way is not so great. But so coffee house is a great place to meet up, right? You go have a cup of coffee with a friend. What are your recommendations for people instead of ordering the sugary syruped latte, double espresso with, with whipped cream and I don't know, sprinkles on top? What do you say to people?
Well, I tell this story too. I had a boyfriend and I started meeting him for coffee, like at his apartment. I think I was in my 20s and I was putting sugar in my coffee. And he said, "You put sugar in your coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, sugar and cream." And he said, "You can wean yourself off of that. Just put a little less each day." And I started doing it. And I thought the flavor of the coffee, I could taste the flavor better without the sugar, because when the sugar was in it, all I tasted was sugar. So I weaned myself off and then I started only putting cream in it. So if you are going to these coffee shops and you're saying, "Hey, can you put 3, 4 extra pumps in there?" Start backing off. Don't put the extra pumps in there. And just try to get used to coffee as, coffee, not sugar, and try to taste the flavor of the coffee. I think cream in coffee is really good. And I know in Europe, I had an editor from the UK, and she said, "We drink our coffee black over here." The
Yes,
black coffee is really popular in Europe, but it's old school. But I think if you do remove a little bit of sugar like daily, you can get yourself down to the point where, you're in a safe zone. All that syrup is really bad.
yeah. Well, and then you're enjoying the flavor of the coffee
Exactly.
instead of
Yeah.
coffee candy, basically, right? So
Coffee candy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's in liquid form. I mean, that's what it tastes like. And they're tasty, but get back to the root of the coffee while you're there. And there are other things on the menu. There's tea. There's other things that you can get on the menu.
Right, right. There's something like a fruit drink that I will get sometimes, and it's supposed to be natural. I don't know, but it's like strawberries and it
Mhm.
has a fruit flavor. It's not as sugary, but it tastes great. It's a refresher, I think.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
I like it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So there are alternates. So it doesn't mean stop going with your friend to have coffee. Go have
Right,
coffee, but think about what you're ordering, or go have lunch, but think about what you're ordering, and take your kids to
right,
McDonald's so they can play in the playland, and you can have a moments of peace with your friend
right,
and have a conversation, whatever it is. But look at what you're ordering and look at what you're having, and make different choices. And yeah,
right.
yeah.
I've actually asked them, like some of the coffee shops are already putting 3 pumps of syrup in. And there's people getting three more on top of that. So, but when I have gone and said, "Can you only put 1 pump?" I like the vanilla lattes. And I will say, "Can you only put 1 pump of vanilla in?" And I haven't actually gone for a very long time, but that I started doing that just to get less sugar, and it really didn't change the flavor much to have less.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah. Well, and I always kind of think too, when you're eating for such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So, especially on our to go, we got to get things done, society, whatever that we live in. We tend to eat quickly, a lot of people, and it's just this short amount of time and then it's gone. And so
Mhm.
it's like, well, sometimes I look back and go, well, I could have made a different choice and had a different meal. And right now I'd be in the same spot because the food
Mhm.
would still be gone.
Right.
Oh, if that's logical at all, but somehow
Yeah.
that's how my brain works a little bit. But meals too, like I went to Japan last summer, and people don't talk when they're eating
Oh,
because they're
really?
enjoying the food. Yeah, because they're actually enjoying the food and they don't walk and eat. Like you can't walk on
Oh,
the sidewalk with
people.
something in your ice cream cone even in your hand.
And people drive and eat. I see people driving and eating all the time. But what was Japan like? So did they have a lot of healthy options? I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's vegetables and
Yes.
meat.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lots and lots of healthy options. Yeah. The food is fantastic. Absolutely. But
that
they
would have
look
been
at a
awesome.
meal differently, which is, like culturally, different people look at meals differently. And in many places in Europe, they don't even eat dinner till 8, 9 o'clock at night. And it might last 1 or 2 hours. It's not
Mhm.
this fast, just eat. And,
Yeah,
but by and large, people are thinner than they are here in the US. And so, what is it that they're doing, right, that we can incorporate into our own thing? And one of those things you do, because you love to cook, you love to cook for people and have people over. And
yes. I
they,
have cooking parties where I teach my friends how to make some of my mom's authentic Italian dishes and other things. It's great. It all started because of my kids. I have two daughters, Marlo and Lana, and they had birthday parties, and I would cook. And we had a lot of people over, maybe 25, 30, sometimes 40 people. And we also are big Steeler fans because we're in Pittsburgh. Yeah, we had parties and I always cooked and everybody would just rave about the things I was cooking. And when I started this book and, said cooking at home is healthy. It's really good. You can control the amount of fat, you can control the sugar and the salt that you put in your food. I said, I'm going to teach my friends how to do this and we'll put them on YouTube so that I can, try to encourage people. I think everybody just wants to, it's time and convenience and they want to run out and get the fast food or whatever. And it's actually fun to like cook at home and, have the ambiance. We have candles lit and we decorate really nice. So my friends started coming over and it ended up, 25 people and they're all rolling dough. We have like two dough machines going and they're all making ravioli and they get to put some on a tray and we put their name on it and put them in the fridge downstairs. When they leave to go home, they get to take their whatever they made, ravioli or no. And my friends love it. They love the cooking parties and it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And so one other I love everything about you, I have to say, but something that I think that is so special about that is um food is social.
Yeah.
And some people haven't grown up learning how to cook, right?
Mhm.
And so don't know their way around a kitchen. And so to help people
Right.
figure out their way around a kitchen. But
Mhm.
what a fun way to be together and talk and enjoy each other and
Mhm.
learn how to cook at the same time. That is all great, great stuff. And sometimes I think too, like people are in a hurry with
Mhm.
dinner. Okay, oh, we're so hungry. We have to eat
Yeah.
right now. We're so hungry. We have to eat right now. Well, uh, sometimes dinner can be made at home in like half an hour. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a 3 hour roast, right? I mean,
Right.
there are things that you can do, meals that you can put together in a short amount of time, and then sit down and eat them. Because sometimes I think, what are we in a hurry to do?
Exactly.
Right? Like what is our hurry? Like
Right. And
used to,
like, do you honestly, you can't suffer that little bit of hunger pain for 30 more minutes till you can get home.
yeah,
And,
right.
like it's crazy, but that's another thing I talk about. I have an acronym that I came up with, ABCTs, and it's A is avoid high sugar and high fat, and B is be active. C is consistency, so eating more consistency, in your diet. And T is timing, and that's what you're talking about. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is vintage nutrition. That's what we did in the 70s and the 80s, and we gave our body that period of 3 hours where we didn't have food. And that, what I noticed from my daughter and all the documenting that I did, that's where the pancreas has the time to like really knock down the blood sugar. And that's where if you're not diabetic, your pancreas just gets a nice rest. Because type 2 is avoidable, according to is it the American Diabetes Association? They say you can avoid it, do the Mediterranean diet. But you need to give your pancreas and your body a break from constant eating.
Yeah, right. I mean, even intermittent fasting is a thing now too, right?
Right. And I think it's the American Diabetes Association recommends that as well as something that is helpful because you are giving your pancreas a break. And it's easy if you just have water with you. I take bottled water with me everywhere. And when you're starting to feel hungry, drink some of that water to buy you the time to get home so you can cook at home.
Yeah,
And
well, and sometimes thirst actually feels like hunger. So,
yes, I
right?
just learned that.
Yeah,
Yeah, thirst is sometimes disguised as hunger. And so I just learned that. Really, I can't believe you brought that up. So I'm trying to drink a little more water, you know.
yeah,
But
right. Or and have water first if you
yeah,
feel.
when you have that water in your car, it makes it easier to not get the meal. If you're going through a drive-through, just get the burger and you have the water. I know,
Mm,
and if you just absolutely love French fries, because I know I do crave French fries sometimes too, and I'm not dogging on anybody for what they eat because I love French fries too, and that's why my book is user friendly. It says get French fries, but then get a salad and a water.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so just have a glass of water when you're feeling hungry, and then you'll find out, was it thirst or was it hunger? And
Right,
not eat just to eat. And yeah, I it's funny to me because the way we grow up has such an influence on how we are as adults. And so like families that their moms cooked at home, maybe they all had dinner together, are more apt to do the same for their families. But
right,
we're in a time where a lot of families aren't doing that, haven't done that for years because it's,
right.
you know, all the sports after school and clubs after school and all this stuff in the evening and travel teams and thing after thing that our kids are involved in, which is
Hmm.
great. It makes them active and it's fun to you meet the other parents. You know, there's so many benefits to it.
Hmm.
So how do you, when you have this super active lifestyle like that, how do you cook? How do you make it work?
You just have to think ahead. I just wrote an article, which I haven't blogged, but I am gonna start blogging, and I'm gonna put this article on my blog within a week. But it's how to travel and stay healthy. And one of the things, if you look at it from like a financial aspect, we do ski trips, and the ski resort is 3 hours away. And what we were doing was jumping in the car, and you drive like 2 hours, and then you need to stop for food. Why didn't you just make a sandwich at home before you left and pack in a cooler and take in the car? And you're probably going to save, if you have a family of four, maybe $40, $50.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's something you could do. And, you can do that when you're traveling too, like in the morning before you go to the airport, because if you go to the airport and you get through the checkpoint and then you have to go get something to eat, that's going to cost you a lot of money at the airport. So the night before, if you just plan ahead, the night before, make a sandwich and then you can eat it. Or if you can get up early enough to make breakfast, you just have to be thinking about it. And, sandwiches are a great thing for travel. You can get containers and do like soups and stuff as well. And then going back to making good choices when you're traveling and ordering the way that we were talking about is going to help you. Because if you're just doing what they tell you to do, order this meal, this number, you have the numbers, and you just constantly, when you're out doing the hamburger and the French fries and the soda, it's going to catch up to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we feel like it catches up fast, but really it's a gradual thing.
It
You know,
is. And
still
the,
doesn't jump 10 pounds in a day. You know, it
the
takes some time, takes some work to get it to do that.
it does. The fast food prices have gone up. So it's almost like, when you go to a restaurant, the portions are really big at restaurants too. Like if you go and you get like a pasta dish at a restaurant, if you cut that in half, you're going to have it might be a $22, $25 meal, but you could cut it in half and eat half because it's so big and eat the other half the next day. And then it comes out to $12 per meal. So that's another thing that you can do instead of doing fast food, do nicer restaurants, but try to discipline yourself to eat half. I call it the eat half rule.
Yeah, I like that. Eat half.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You've got so
And
much
then
good stuff. Yeah.
there's healthy nuts and snacks that you can take. I have the Yuka app, Yuka, which you can scan barcodes and see the quality of food. And there's a lot of great travel snacks like nuts and, things in the little packages, but you can beep it and make sure it's a good quality and pack those in your suitcase. And as soon as you get to wherever you're going, or if you're traveling just to, events, make sure you have water in your car all the time. When you land somewhere or drive somewhere, before you go to the hotel, stop and get your bottled water.
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
water. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so so much great advice. So much great advice. And yeah, I mean, you're the only you, everybody. You're the only you, and only you get to decide what you eat. Only you get to decide how you want to live, how you want to feel. And it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to feel and how long you want to live. I don't know if it's really up to you, but some things are, disease control and things like that. So it's also good and it makes so much sense. And you feel so much better when you put good stuff in, you just
Yeah.
feel so much better. And
And
when you're active,
if
yeah.
you can get your partner on board with you, that's even better. And if you truly love somebody, trying together to make it work and to stay healthy is a really good thing. So
Mhm.
if you want to make a change and you say, I'm going to buy Jodi's book, you try to get your partner to do it. And then, kids watch whatever you do, they will do what you do. And that's one of the best gifts that you can give to your kids is to show them that you care, you're eating healthy and trying to stay fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's so practical. Your book is so practical and it's not this you're cutting everything out of your diet. You can never eat that stuff again, whatever. That's not
Right.
what it's about.
In
And
America today, that's just not practical advice. It's not to, try to take someone to this strict diet. So it's little changes that you can make, and over time you'll start feeling better and you'll want to make more changes.
exactly, exactly. So good, so good. So, and all of this stemmed from your daughter at 19 months. Man, that had to be so hard. What do you say to parents who are facing something like that with one of their kids, like um, keeping the marriage together? Like that can be a difficult thing
Mhm.
when you have a child with a disease and illness that they're facing. It can be
Right.
hard on the marriage. It can be hard on the other kids, and just hard on
Yeah.
you. What is your advice for people?
Well, try to make it work however you can. Keep a positive attitude, and you have to be almost an investigator to see where you can get help. And one of the things with us was my husband was an air traffic controller, so he worked a lot of 3 to 11s. So when he came home at 11, that was my time to go to bed, and he took over at night, and we worked together like that. So he would, check my daughter and make sure she was good into the night because he didn't want to come home and go straight to bed. So he was staying up watching TV anyway. So kind of try to work and see where you can get help that way. I was lucky I had parents next door, but we still didn't have a lot of people to watch our kids because we wanted to go out and, have fun as a husband and wife. So I called the school, had like a childcare class and asked the teacher, is there any, teenagers that would like to help? And that saved us. We had so many great teenagers that helped us through the elementary and middle school years. It was just amazing. Kids are fearless. You just tell them what to do and they'll do it. And we had some great kids that we're still in touch with, like today, that watch my kids. And keep a good attitude if you find yourself. The reason I included the fitness in my book and stuff like that is because someone told me if you keep going at this pace, it's going to catch you. And I knew that I had to start doing something. So I had to start working out. So take care of yourself. They tell you on an airplane, put your oxygen mask on before your kids. So take care of yourself and get my book.
Know the enemy. Yes, and it is, and it's so good, and it's available where? Where can people buy?
Amazon and Ingram. So you can order it there. It's 14.99, and it's the best 14.99 you will spend.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that because um if you figure out the number of hours and hours and hours and life experience and whatever that goes into your book, into a book, um 14.99 is cheap. Like it's free. I mean, and what is it? A number one at McDonald's, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Right.
The amount of information that you get and the wisdom and everything else that you get, the entertainment and reading it and whatever.
The
The
good advice. Yeah.
exactly. And for 14.99.
Yes, and I do book shows, and I see a lot of times that people shy away from my book because it says, diabetes. This is way more than just diabetes. This is about weight, about fitness, little tips and tricks. So don't shy away just because it says diabetes. The wealth of knowledge in there is going to help you. Two of my preliminary editors lost over 50 pounds editing my book.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, so yes, so get the book and not just for yourself, but who do you know? Do you have a friend, a family member, somebody that this would be a great book for them? That
Mhm.
it would be. It's not like you're saying, "Hey, you need to lose weight, so here's the book," because that's not what it is. It's so much more than that. And
Mhm.
so, buy a few and give them away. Great gift, great thing to do. Great pick me up. Somebody get a book in the mail and enjoy it. So, buy more.
Anybody that has little ones, the games in the back, the activities for kids, that's just, your kids will love you.
Yeah. Well, and this is a book too that you'll reference. So, you can
Mhm.
sit down and read it all at once if you want to, but yeah, I find you go back to it and you go back to certain chapters.
Right,
And so it's a book you'll keep for a long, long time and highlight and reference and,
right.
the things. So,
Yes, my cousin actually goes to Florida in the winter and she bought it and took it with her. And she left it there and said, I'm leaving it there. I'm going to buy another one for Pittsburgh because I want one in both places. And I was like, wow,
ah,
okay.
that's a good, I like that cousin. I need cousins like that. That's good. Yeah. So it's good. It's so good. And how is the process of writing for you?
Well, I think after this book, this book was a lot of work because I have a lot of experience. I checked my daughter's finger like 30,000 times before she was 10. And all the insulin shots and everything. But I am not a doctor. So I wanted to make sure I have a picture in my book of all the notebooks. And I did always consistently work with doctors and nutritionists along the way. But I have a picture in the book of all the notebooks on the dining room table that I documented. But still, when you're putting a book out there, I had to make sure I wasn't saying anything, that wasn't correct. So I had medical journal editors out of Kansas go over it and edit it and make sure everything was okay. And after that process and learning all that, I said, I'm going to move to fiction.
Right?
I want to write a romance book. Like I just want something easy because that was a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, and then your research can be like in Tuscany or somewhere, right? Like in whatever setting you want to put your book in, and that would be fun research. That'd be a good time. But
Yes, I want to slide over to fiction and just see what that's like. I don't know if anybody did. Do you know of anybody who made the jump from vice versa, fiction to nonfiction?
yeah, it's there are very few writers actually that write both. Very few that write both successfully.
Yeah, well, I'm done with nonfiction, so
So do it.
I'm
I
not going to
mean,
write both. I'm going to slide over. Like,
yeah, do it.
it was
Yeah.
a lot of work. It took me 10 years to write this book.
See that for 14.99. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And yeah, it took 14 years. But I'm grateful that you took that time to really come
Aw,
up with
thank
the
you.
best thing that you could come out with and that it's helping so many people and will continue to
I
help.
did just have a write-up from the New York Post. So that was amazing that, they wanted to, it's a big write-up. It's not just a review, it's a whole article. Um, and that made me feel so good that people are seeing the value. It's won the International Impact Book Awards for the category of diet and nutrition. and it has won the Four Season Book Awards. It was a finalist and will be on a Times Square billboard, the cover and my picture in the fall.
That is so cool. I hope you're going to go there and take lots of pictures of it and take
Yes,
a
they
video
won't tell me
of
the
you
date.
holding up your book, pointing at you, holding up your book. Yeah, that would be incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Oh, this
right,
was so fun. This was so fun. I appreciate it so much because, sometimes talking about diet, exercise, food, whatever can be not as fun, but this was a good
right.
time. And
Yeah,
yeah, and it can be good, just good material for everybody to have. Buy the book, everybody. Buy the book, buy more than one, give it away. It's so good. Know the enemy. And um, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything, all your encouragement and advice, and appreciate you so much. And for those of you who are just listening, let me just say, Jodi is glowing. She's absolutely beautiful. And
oh, thank you
when
so
you,
you.
oh, you're so sweet. But when you go on her website and she has these full body pictures, it's like that alone, seeing Jodi gorgeous and with this incredible figure
Oh,
is inspiration enough to go, oh yeah,
I just turned
I want
60,
that.
so I gotta
Wow. Yeah,
keep that up.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. 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 Well, you'd never know that you're so,
Thank you. Thank you.
but yeah, so thank you. Thanks again for doing this. Thanks for being here. I so enjoyed it.
Thanks
And
for having me.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you, everybody out there, for joining us. Pass this episode along. I'm sure you probably know people who could benefit from this. And so pass it along, subscribe, do the things, all the whatevers. And thanks for coming. Thanks for being with us for this time. And I just pray that until we see each other again, that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.